Okay, so as I mentioned, I am pretty dang excited about this one because, well, we've been meaning to do it for a very long time. So, a lot of times we get questions of, okay, I'm set up, right? I'm ready to go. I am all set up. So now what do I do? And so that's what today is designed to conquer. My name is Christina Hampton. I get to be your trainer and your host for today. And so we are going to dive into the after you are set up. So after you've done your bulk import, after you've connected outside lead sources, you've done the basic training, the agent quick start. So now what? So with kvCORE, there is so much that you can do in here. Some activities are like a once a month kind of check in. Some activities you're going to do maybe a couple times a month, and some activities you're going to do every single day. And as you are building kvCORE into your habit, that's what we want. You want to put in your calendar time to be in kvCORE every single day. Now, you might think, okay, I'm already so busy, Christina. How am I going to do that? I already have to door knock and prospect and follow up with people, and I have clients to show houses to, and like I already have so much that I'm doing. Well, you want to think about kvCORE as the place that you go to do a lot of that, right? So kvCORE is going to be the place that you go to prospect. kvCORE is going to be the place that you go to follow up with people and look for hot leads. Like that's what you are doing in kvCORE. This is becoming where you run your whole business. Uh, Quick side note, because I jumped in pretty fast. If you are watching the recording of this on YouTube and want to sign up live, you can scan this QR code and find the registration link that way. You can also always find the registration link in the live training calendar. We offer these 3 times a week. All right, let's keep going. So there are really 5 activities that you should do on a regular and daily basis within kvCORE. Okay, overall, our whole goal is to build, nurture, and convert. Build our business, build our database, build the number of contacts that we have, nurture them so we are growing or maintaining the relationship that we have with them so we can convert more people into deals. Build, nurture, convert. That's what we want to do. So the things that I can do daily in kvCORE to help me get there, I like to start with an easy win. Log in. That seems straightforward, but step 1 is logging in. Now that can be on your mobile app or on the desktop. But step 1, log in. Step 2 is to work your dashboard. And yes, I'm going to go deeper into all of these, but log in and then work your dashboard. That should be the second thing that you do every day when you're in kvCORE. From there, you want to update any contacts that you know that you need to update. Then you want to work your CRM. Like go to your smart CRM, do some activities in there, do some outreach. We call it lead CPR or poke the bear, or we have a lot of terms for it, but your CRM, your group of contacts. Then you want to fuel up that pipeline. Build. You want to be adding people into kvCORE on a regular basis. And then finally, oh, that's it. Those are your activities. So if you need that, your 5 things that you do every day, log in, work your dashboard, update your contacts, work your CRM, and fuel up your pipeline. Okay. So again, step 1, when you log in, you can do that either on the desktop or if you log in via the mobile app, just make sure that you do something while you're there. You might even need to do something in there so that way your agent accountability rules are going to keep you in lead rotation. That's a whole other webinar. So don't just log in and look at it. Log in and do something. Okay. Again, I like to start with the easy wins. Most of us are doing this already, but it bears mentioning. Once you've done that, after you've logged in, now we are going to work your dashboard. Okay, so when you work your dashboard, there are a few things in there that you can do. So for example, I can complete my calls, and this is the order I recommend: completing your calls, completing your tasks, and working your activity stream. So let's look at that. And a quick hint, everything we mentioned today can be done on the mobile app. This section right here, the working your dashboard, it is separated into 3 pieces. It is separated into that activity stream, your calls, and your tasks. But on the desktop version, it's all in the same place. So here we go. First, what I recommend is that you complete your calls, right? So I've got my activity stream, I've got my calls, and I've got my tasks here available for me. I like to do my calls first because these are what's scheduled for me. So calls are scheduled in 3 ways. Okay, one is that they are scheduled by you. As you are working a lead and working a contact, you can schedule something for the future. So for example, let's say that I went to call Stephanie and she wound up not answering. And while I wrote down that I left her a voicemail, I don't want to forget to call her again. So I can click on new call and click schedule call. I can just say left voicemail on 3-2 about qualification status. This will be my second call attempt. And I could even do it later today, right? If I'm someone who would forget to call back, which I definitely am, I could just schedule this for, let's say well, I know she has kids, she's got to pick them up. So let's do 4 p.m. There we go, 4:15 p.m. Then I know she's home. Okay, I can sync this into Google. I could even schedule this repeat calls, which is cool. So if I wanted it to call her, 5 times over the next year, it would do that. For me, I just want this one singular reminder to call her later today. And so I'm going to schedule that call for myself. Calls can also be scheduled by this handy dandy quick action button in the top right hand corner. I can add a call right from here. So I can schedule a call this way too. Here, I just need to first say who the contact is. Oh, there we go. Now, as I jumped in and got super excited, I forgot to change it so you can all unmute yourself. My bad. I'm going to do that because I can talk forever. And these are designed to be really, really interactive. So if you have an off-topic question, I do ask that you hold that to the end. But anything on topic with currently we're talking about calls, bring them in. Okay, you can also chat. For those of you who are like, no, I'm quiet, chatting is fine. So you are scheduling these calls for yourself. You're going in and you're using this as your reminder. It also keeps you organized, right? Like I have just sheets all over the place. I should be organizing myself just right within kvCORE so I don't have to worry about, oh no, I left my my post-it note of notes somewhere and now I can't find them, right? That's not fun. And so it would be nice if I just, kept myself as organized as I suggest for you. But logging my things within kvCORE is going to, again, allow me to get my to-do list done in here. So I'm scheduling things. The other 2 ways that calls are scheduled are something that is done automatically for me by kvCORE. So one way that calls are scheduled for me is through smart campaigns. Now, we're not going to go all the way into smart campaigns today. Smart campaigns are pre-created plans of action. Okay, that's what you want to know. Smart campaigns are pre-created plans of action. We have a whole bunch for you that have already been created that you can find in the marketing section. And they are plans of action based on the lead status or how they know you, if you want to think about it that way. So today might be day 3 that I have a new lead, which means that I have a call to make today. I don't need to remember that it's day 3. I don't need to remember any of that, but I just know right here, day number 3. I might decide that maybe it is day, this I don't have memorized, but it might be day 180 of a Sphere Smart campaign. And so it's time for me to call that person again, right? I don't need to know that either. It's just here to, this is what I'm doing today. Okay. So that's the second way calls are scheduled for me, is from Smart campaigns. The third way calls are scheduled for me, which is one of my absolute favorite features of kvCORE. I did a whole webinar just on this like 2 weeks ago, and it is daily call creation. So daily call creation is the big giant safety net of kvCORE, where it looks out for opportunities for you to engage with people. It looks at things like, this is a hot lead. They triggered a behavioral alert and you haven't called them in a week. This is a new lead. They've been in your CRM for 90 days. You haven't called them in a month. You should call them. This person has looked at properties in the last 6 months and you haven't called them in a month. So it's a very specific list of activities that we look at, the behavior that we look at, and then we schedule these opportunities to engage for you. So I love daily call creation. It is my hands down favorite feature of kvCORE. You can edit it right from here if you want more people called, less people called, different statuses included, that kind of a thing. So that's how calls are scheduled for you. They're scheduled by you, they're scheduled by Smart campaigns, and they're scheduled by daily call creation. If you don't want to look under the hood and figure all that out, all you need to do is say, okay, what's scheduled today? Oh, oops, and it did repeat those, even though I told it not to. That's okay. I'm just going to delete them. Easy peasy. Mass delete. So if something like that happens, you can always delete things. If you know, oh, I'm not going to get to this today, I can snooze it till tomorrow. But I do want to get in here and, ideally, I want to get these things done. So that's my second thing I do, right? I log in and I start working my dashboard. And I start by making my phone calls. I'm going to do today's calls first, or I could hop to my past due calls and check those out. Now, past due calls, these are things that I have scheduled. Reminder, call scheduled. That's how I know that I scheduled it. I also know that I scheduled these things because kvCORE will only keep things for, I think it's 7 days that we schedule for you. We don't want to overwhelm you if you got into some bad habits and weren't logging in. We're not going to send you 6-month-old things. So we keep things here for about a week. Now, but all these are things that I have scheduled personally. And so we leave these here for you, right? We figure if you made them, you meant to do them. And so I can just complete it. I can, mass manage and mass snooze even, okay, in 20 minutes. And so that way it's scheduled today, right? Now I'm less behind. I've got all these things to do today. I might notice, okay, I've got a couple in here for Olivia. So maybe I'm going to take one of these and delete that one, right? So I'm definitely diving in here, but to keep it back to high level, you want to make sure that you are logging in and completing these calls every day, right? That's it. It's that simple. From there, you want to complete your tasks. Tasks are scheduled in 2 ways, right? Calls are scheduled in 3, tasks are scheduled in 2. One is you're scheduling them. Just like with calls, I can go to my lead detail record and I can go to more actions this time and I can add a task from here. So I'm scheduling these. I got done doing a listing appointment. They said, that's great. Oh my gosh, we actually are going on vacation in 3 days. You're like, okay, no problem. When do you come back? And I'm going to drop off an updated CMA the day after they get back, right? So they'll be gone to the 15th. So on the 16th, I'm going to leave myself a task reminder. Back from vacation, drop new CMA, and add in a task. Just like with my calls, I can also use my really handy dandy quick action button to add a task from here as well. So my task can be anything that I need to do. Oh, that's my title. I meant my contact. Maybe it can be, we said dropping off a CMA. It can be send a birthday card. It can be comment on their Facebook page. It could be a reminder to send a text message. It could be anything you want. You could even put a task to make a phone call if that's easier for you. You then still have to call, but that is something that you could do. So birthday coming up. And I'm going to do that this weekend when I go shopping. Great. Okay, so tasks are scheduled by you. They are also scheduled by Smart Campaigns. That is what these weekly reminders are. 95% of our Smart Campaign tasks, maybe 90%, is just a check-in reminder. For your Sphere, sometimes it's a Sphere check-in reminder. For our active campaign, it's a weekly check-in. Most of the check-ins just say check-in, right? So I've got Jamie here, and this is a weekly check-in reminder. So check in with the contact or update their status. So I'm going to click on Jamie's name, and I'm going to look at my past due calls, or my recent activity rather. So okay, been sending property alerts to them, sent a market report to them. They didn't open any of those, so I would say that no, I haven't made contact with them in the week. So I am going to, oh, I don't have a phone number. So I'm going to try Core Video, see if that can't spark something. Or maybe I'm going to go drop off a flyer, a Starbucks card, something like that, and then mark that as done. I have a huge list of past due tasks for Jamie. So I can view all of my tasks from here and kind of go through and clean things out, look at all these past due. So, maybe I'll just do that also. Mark one is done today. And then like delete or snooze the other past due ones. I don't want to tell you to delete things. Ideally, you do them. But there is that option for you. So again, if you had the bad habit of not doing it, you can always delete things. You can also snooze things too. Like look at my ridiculous past due list. If I don't like that scary past due, I can start there and chop on things and then snooze things till like tomorrow or the next day or something like that. So log in, work your dashboard. Start with your calls, then do your tasks. That's what I like to do. And the third piece of my dashboard is my activity stream. So my activity stream is all inbound activity that I might want to take some action on. There is a lot of stuff that's happening here. There are property views. There are hot lead notifications. There are showing requests. If I've synced my email, there will be inbound emails. Here's something that's fun and kind of hidden in my activity. I can even see email events, which with a grain of salt is showing me who's opened my emails. So if I want to know, okay, who looked at my market report, right there, it's open. Okay, so it gives me lots of good details. That one's hidden because we got a lot of feedback that it was just way too busy. Jeff, if your dashboard doesn't seem to update, it should update. If it doesn't, one, try logging out and logging back in. Two, try hitting this refresh button, right? And I have noticed sometimes like a showing request, I'll get notified about it and then it takes a couple minutes to populate here, but that's why we send the notifications, right? Ideally, you're working off of the notifications for hot things like showing requests and asking questions and new leads. So like you should be working off those notifications ideally. This is like when I log in the morning, did I respond to all of these things yesterday? Or at the end of the day, if I choose to review, like I like reviewing. So at the end of the day, did I respond to all my hot things here? So it should be updating. It's pretty quick. It's not exact to the minute though, but try hitting that refresh or try logging out and logging back in. Good call. So there's a lot of things to do. So now I want to work my activity stream. So example, this person submitted a new valuation. And I can see here, okay, they updated from the website. That's the property they submitted a valuation on. When you submit a valuation, they can tell you if they liked it or not. This person did not. There's quite a difference between the two values. What's my home actually worth? Well, let's get back to them. So I can answer right from here. But yeah, the best way to know the value of your home is with a personalized, with a real professional. Like, when would you like me to come and give my professional opinion on what your home is worth? So I can respond right from here. I can see who asked a question. And again, I can answer right from here. I can also see which ones have already been answered. So like this one's grayed out because I've already sent an answer to that. I've got a new lead here, so I could call right from here. I could send a core video message introducing myself. So that's my activity stream. Some things that I get common questions on, and then of course, unmute yourself or chat or Q&A any questions about the activity stream specifically. One thing I get a question on a lot is this flame. Okay, so this flame means that that's a hot lead. And specifically what makes someone a hot lead in kvCORE means that they have triggered 4 or more behavioral alerts. So behavioral alerts are awesome. They track your contacts' behavior on your website when it has to do with them looking at different properties. So they're a very specific list of behaviorals that you might want to know about. So let me chat out that article to you. I spelled behavioral wrong. That's horrible. Let me try that again. Okay. So behavioral automation, behavioral alerts let you know when someone's triggered a hot behavior. Something like, not just something like, a very specific list. They've revisited your website after 14 days. They viewed 5 properties in the last day. Hot behavior. They visited your site 5 times in a week. You are notified about all of these, unless you've gone and turned it off. But the default is you are being notified about all of these, and outreach is happening to your lead. So this person here, Stephanie, is a hot lead because she's done at least 4 of these at some point in time. Not necessarily all yesterday or anything like that, but she has done them at some point in her history. So it's a great idea to call her. Okay. Another one that I get a lot is a heart. There we go. So this heart means that someone has saved or favorited a property. So while they were on your website looking at property alerts, etc., they went and saved that. You can see all the properties that someone has saved by clicking on all activity, and you can go down to see properties saved, and you can see all the properties they've ever saved. Right? So the point of my activity stream is to make sure I'm not missing opportunities to engage with people, whether my engagement is to answer their questions, to respond to my showing request. That time works great for me, or I need a different time. Send them a text message, call them, send them a core video, anything like that. That's what I'm doing with my dashboard. So that is a really, really expanded number 2 thing to do today, right? Because we are logging in and then we are working our dashboard. The number 3 thing to do was update my contacts. So if there's anyone specifically that I'm thinking of is as they move into closed, right? So thinking about this can be done in the morning, afternoon, as you're talking to them throughout the day, but it's very important that you update your contacts status. That's to make sure that they're on all the correct automation, on the right smart campaign, getting the right behavioral alerts triggered. So you want to make sure that you're updating your contacts status. You can do that in an individual record. So here's Stephanie. She's requested a showing. And this is a good opportunity for me to reach out and say, I don't do showings unless we have a buyer broker agreement. You know, maybe that's how I run my business. She says, great. And so now I'm ready to move her into my client. So I want to make sure that I'm updating everyone's status because I want her on the appropriate smart campaign, right? Maybe I have someone that I'm in a contract with, offers, counter offers, transaction management, etc. And so I closed that deal today. I want to move this person to closed. So that way they get on the closed smart campaign. Reminder, our default campaign is very timely. It says something at 30 days and references a month and 6 months and a year. So it's really the only campaign of our defaults that is like, there's a time thing to think about, time sensitive. You make your own, or if you don't use it, not as important. But I do like to call that out as something that's important. Do I need to add or update any hashtags based on conversations? Do I want to add in any notes, right? Did we go to coffee and we talked about maybe steps to becoming an investor in real estate? Make sure I'm updating the things that I did outside of kvCORE. So you could do this at the end of the day. I know in the ideal world, I sit down at the end of the day, I reflect on my day, and I plan for tomorrow. I don't do that very often. But in the ideal world, I do that. At the end of my business day, sit down, okay, did any status changes happen? Do I need to log any notes that happened? Just kind of like tie a bow on the day. Or maybe I do that in the morning. I reflect on yesterday. That's more likely to be what I do. And again, update any statuses. So that's what I mean by update your contacts. Add any notes, add and remove hashtags, update their status. Like the people who you are actually working with, make sure you're updating those. Because what happens sometimes is someone goes from a new lead and then I meet with them in person and I don't do anything in kvCORE and they still get that new lead smart campaign. I don't want that. The fourth thing to do every day, that one was short and sweet, right? The fourth thing to do every day is to go to your smart CRM. Okay. Now, some days this timing is not going to take very long. You're going to make your 10 phone calls. No one's going to answer. You're going to knock out your tasks, go to your CRM, send out an email, and it's going to happen very quickly. And other days, every person's going to answer the phone and you're going to be talking for hours. So it's all a little bit different. But when you're in your CRM, there is, when I say work your CRM, what I mean is run a filter. So take your big group of contacts and find a group of people that you want to talk to today, right? Before the filters, you could actually even use these column headers here, right? So, okay, I'm not sure, I'm not ready to dive into filters yet. Okay, Christina, that's fine. Go to this column of the last time they were on your website and click that button. Excuse me, your last call. I totally misspoke. So there it's going to show me my most recent calls, but if I click it again, it's going to show me all the people that I have never logged a call with in kvCORE. So now that I have those people, start calling them, right? So when I say work your CRM, pick a group of people and communicate. That can be another 10 phone calls. It can be another 10 answers, which is a different success metric. It can be sending out a mass email or a mass text, but you want to do something in your CRM every day. So again, you could be looking at the last time I called these people, last visit. This is visiting to my website. So I have this whole list of people, if I click that one, who have never been to my website. Okay. So now I'm going to engage with them. I'm going to click the the box at the top of my CRM. It's going to select everyone on that page. My page is 10 people. Your page can be up to 250. So you can communicate out to 250 people at once. And I'm going to send them a mass email, and I'm going to invite them to go look at my website. There's a lot of ways to do that. There's a couple templates. One is called the imported leads default email. So like after I import my leads to kvCORE, I want to send them this email. It's a good thing to check in where they're at. It sends them to your website. Send that on its way. Imported leads default email. You don't need the whole name, just import it. Another one that I really like, just type in the word website. And there is this website improvement template too. Hi, I made some changes to my website, make it even easier to find a great property. Can you check it out? Let me know what you think. Super simple. Now, work your CRM. When you're working your CRM, please, please, please do our 1-2 punch. And what that means is simply, I'm going to do one thing and then a second thing. So my 1-2 punch here can be sending an email and then sending a text message. Hey, lead's first name, I just sent you an email about my new website. Did you get it? Simple. Yes, no, yes, and I'm ignoring you, right? 99.9% of the text message in this country get opened. Okay, so email and text, video message and text, mass text and add a smart campaign, mass text and add a task, mass text and then start calling them all, right? Whatever you want to do, but do something, right? Do 2 things now, do something now and schedule a future activity. Do 2 things, whatever those 2 things are. I do want to mention, because I kind of breezed past it, but the mass video message here, this is a paid add-on. Okay, this is our core video premium version. I love it, but it's a paid add-on. Individuals, you can do it, but you have to go one at a time. So this is free. So I could send a mass video, or excuse me, a core video to one person totally for free. I can do that 10 times each month. But if I want to send it here with the mass option, it's the paid version, the paid upgrade, which personally I love. So in your CRM, find a group of people to talk to. You can utilize these columns, right? Which is pretty cool. There's even more columns. If you want to get crazy and get in there and start looking at things like, okay, what's one in here that I really like? Well, I think I have on all the ones that I really like. Ooh, this one, estimated revenue. Estimated revenue, that's one. So estimated revenue is based off of the search alerts that they're looking at. And so it's like, oh, let me talk in here to the people who kvCORE thinks are going to give me a bunch of money. So I can like check that out. There we go. Right. Oh, right. So that's just kind of fun. Maybe I want to talk to my oldest leads, the ones who've been in here the longest, send them an email. So I can look at my columns. I can also look at my filters. This is where I usually go to, but I want to stop and show columns too. There's so many filters in here. You can decide that today is the day you're going to talk to your sphere of influence. You can build habits for your CRM, and that's what I want you to do. First, I want you to start with just the daily habit of logging in, right? As we stack our habits, step 1 is to get in the habit of logging in every day. Put it on your calendar. It can be the first thing you do when you wake up to just kind of like measure what your day looks like, but you want to be logging in daily. right? Start with your calls and your tasks and your activity stream. And then when you're ready, add 10 more minutes to your daily kvCORE time and add in your CRM filters. When you're in your CRM filters, you can even save them, right? So maybe my sphere, I'm going to talk to them on the first of the month. I don't have a smart campaign. So I'm just going to save this filter, and it's going to be, the first Monday of the month sphere. And I save that filter. So that way I know on the first Monday of the month, I click this filter, it's going to pull up my sphere, and I'm going to reach out to them. Maybe I'm just going to call them. Maybe I'm going to mass email them, whatever I'm going to do. But I love that I can save my filters, and I can even then say, this is my Tuesday filter, an example of a Tuesday filter. Go to your behavior, scroll down in your behavior, and see who was last active on your website at any point in the last 7 days. Save that filter. You can call it on my website 7 days. In this example, I'm going to say Tuesday, because on Tuesday, I'm going to come in, I'm going to find my Tuesday filter, and then I'm going to work that CRM. Right, so here's my list of people, not very many. This is a horrible example. So really, I'm just going to call Dan, my one person, and follow up with Dan. Right, so I can really make some cool filters in here. One thing we talk about a lot is housekeeping. Right, so there's a lot of housekeeping that you can do. My favorite one is to make sure my automation is dialed in. So that's under my behavior section. I can see who doesn't have search alerts and apply that filter and spend some time working that filter. Maybe I'm going to make phone calls and add search alerts to them. Maybe I'm going to send them a mass email with a property to look at, because that'll put them on search alerts. If they look at the property, put in their email address, that'll put them on search alerts. We have, of course, other webinars all about adding search alerts. So I'm not going to go deep into that, but housekeeping filters. See who's not being managed or automated in the way that you want. Okay, so that's my fourth daily activity, is to work my smart CRM. So now that I've logged in, I've worked my dashboard, I've updated my contacts, and I've worked my CRM. Now I want to work on that build portion. I want to make sure that I'm fueling up my pipeline. So depending on the needs of my business, I could do something from the marketplace. Maybe every Monday, I come in here and I purchase a property boost, right? That's a great way to inexpensively fill your pipeline. Maybe every day I go to the lead engine and I utilize one of my text codes or squeeze pages or landing pages. I want to be continually putting lines out in the water to catch the fish, right? And so I want to be utilizing one of these every day, every other day, at least a couple times a week. So it could be a text code. Maybe today I'm going to create a text code and I'm going to put it on my new marketing flyer, right? And that's what I'm doing to fuel my pipeline today. Maybe today I'm going to my squeeze pages and I'm going to make a single property featured property of the day. And I'm going to post that onto my social media. Maybe I've been consistently doing single properties of the day. So today I'm going to make a blog article about all of them and post that. But I'm going to do something in my lead engine every day. My personal favorite go-to, I love multi-property squeeze pages because, I mean, there's so many reasons why. I have, I think, 2, 3 full webinars on our YouTube channel all about multi-property squeeze pages. So the idea is you pick a location and then you pick an interesting type of property, and then that's my multi-property squeeze page. So an example would be San Diego properties, San Diego County. And I'm just going to go down to options here. Let's do some fixer-uppers. San Diego County fixer-uppers. That's it. You'll want to make sure you're doing all this page configuration too. I don't want to get us too deep in the weeds with that, so I'm just going to kind of add it in real quick. I create that link and then I put it on my Facebook business page. I put it on my Twitter. I put it in on LinkedIn. Maybe I make a blog article about it, but I'm going to do something in the lead engine every day, right? I'm going to purchase a property boost. I might do a bigger investment and finally explore Nosy Neighbor like I've been thinking about. I might continue to do another multi-property squeeze page. I might decide, everything else went so fast. And so today's the day for me to dive deeper into landing pages. I'm going to go read up some support articles. I'm going to go watch one of those YouTube videos and previous webinars. I'm going to do a deeper dive of some landing page, work on my knowledge, just find different strategies to utilize. So different things like that. So really, that's it. I know we went into like really deep into the nutshell, I want to say, but that's not, we went down all the rabbit holes. Okay. But really, there are 5 things you want to do every single day. Logging in, that's the easy one. So yeah, there's 5 things, but that one's simple to mark off. And then you want to do something. So start by working your dashboard. I prefer personally to make my calls first, but as long as you're working your dashboard, I'm going to be happy with it. Then you want to update your contacts. Were there any status changes? Were there any in-person meetings that I need to log? Do I want to update any hashtags? Like the work of my actual clients that I'm going to do some zhuzhing around with. And then work your CRM. This is also your prospecting time, right? So as you're building this into your habits, this is your prospecting time. I'm looking for people who've never been on my website, people I haven't called in a year, people who don't have search alerts, so I'm going to add them, people who aren't on smart campaigns, some general CPR, so just like breathing some life into them to see who responds. Tons of webinars about those. And then fuel up your pipeline. Touch some kind of lead generation tool. So that way you're always fueling that pipeline and feeding the beast. And those are your activities. So see the questions coming in? Let's dive in. So the Q&A went first. So is the session recorded? Absolutely, Jeff. So all of these success meetups are recorded, and they are on a channel or playlist on our YouTube channel. So if you are live, I'm going to put this in the chat right now. And if you're watching it on YouTube, you already know how to get here. So yes, it is absolutely recorded. And you'll notice here, success meetups, we have just a big list of these success meetups that we do. So we do them Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We've missed, I think, once or in that whole time since we started. And then, of course, Thanksgiving, US Thanksgiving. But there's so many different ways to accomplish the things that we are talking about today. So, for example, if you wanted to dive into, here we go, landing pages, right? So maybe today I'm going to learn more about landing pages, or I'm going to use them. I just want new ideas. Maybe I want to lead CPR, right? So, okay, Christina said to work my CRM every day. I'm out of ideas or I need ideas. Let's do some lead CPR. There are a ton of ideas in here, or some CRM cleanup tips. That's a great way to get in there too. So there's just so much good stuff in here. Every way to add search alerts, right? Okay, let's do some cleanup, see who's not on search alerts. Here's a lot of ways to add them. Landing page ideas. So there's so many strategies and ideas in here, but just stick to the habits, right? These 5 things: logging in, working your dashboard, updating your contacts, working your CRM, and fueling your pipeline. And you're going to see growth. The key is to be consistent with this, right? So put it on your calendar. Remember that, okay, Christine, I've got all this stuff going on. This is you prospecting. This is you following up. This is, this is you working your business. This is you generating leads, right? So think about that as well. Right? Questions on topic, off topic, anything like that? All right, well, that is our agenda for the day. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, Jeff. As you're typing in your question, for anyone watching on the YouTube channel and you want to come live, you can scan that QR code. It will take you to our live registration page so you can attend these things live with us. Joan, how long should I leave someone as closed before changing them to Sphere? That's a great question. Okay, so it depends on if you're using our closed smart campaign or something else. So if we look at our default closed smart campaign, so marketing smart campaigns is the first blue one that you're going to find. So you click manage campaigns. And I can scroll, but I'm just going to search for closed. So the default closed campaign, when you're looking at smart campaigns in here, two things to point out. There's a lot of things we can cover, but just two we're going to talk about today. This status, which is near the right, if it is to the if this toggle is to the left, and for most users it's gray, that means this campaign is not active. It's not on, meaning that anyone who was on it is not getting communicated with, and it means you can't add new people to it. So I bring this up because our default closed campaign is one of the few campaigns that we add for you, but we leave it off. So I want to point that out. So if you want to use the campaign, you need to toggle it to the right. For most of us, that's blue. Some of us, it's red or eggplant, depends on who you are. Most of us, it's blue. To the right is on. So that's one thing to point out. The second thing to point out is the scope. Scope is who made this, who controls it, and who can edit it. So anything owned by the company, I can turn off and on, but I can't edit in there. And so if I do want to edit it, I just clone it, make my own. Again, there are tons of webinars about that, so I won't go into that today unless I'm explicitly asked. But to answer your question specifically, how long do you leave someone in closed? The key to having them enclosed is you just want to make sure that you're talking to them. And this closed campaign that we have, it's like a beefed up version of the Sphere campaign, right? The Sphere campaign is about every 90 days, and it's mostly just checking in. And then we email and text referral requests. I think it's like twice a year. So the closed is just kind of a beefed up version of that because that's where we get a lot of referrals from, right? If I'm a consumer and I'm looking to buy or sell, one of the first things I do is think about who I know that just went through that process, and I ask them who they worked with and if they like that person, right? That's how a lot of people find their agents. Yes, there's online, there's all these other ways too, but that's still a very common way people find their agents. So in that very key period of 1 year after they close, we do want to follow up with them a little bit more. And so this one is just, again, more frequent than the Sphere Smart Campaign. So to answer your question, how long you leave them enclosed before moving them to Sphere, the default campaign leaves them in there for a year and then transitions them to Sphere, and we'll put them on that smart campaign if you have one. If you are not using this smart campaign at all, if you don't have a system to follow up with your closed clients at all, just throw them in your Sphere now, honestly. If you're using this campaign, or if you don't have a campaign, maybe you call them once a month or text them once a month with working your CRM. So it's really more just making sure you're contacting them. If you're on this campaign, it leaves them for a year. And if you're not on a campaign anyway, honestly, I would just put them in my Sphere, to be honest. Good question. Jeff asks, comparing results of property alerts on kvCORE with the results you get on your local MLS, exact same filters has a different number of hits. Why would that be? That's a great question. There's a couple reasons. One could be the timing. Like if it's a brand new listing on the MLS, this is explained to me really well. So we knock on the door of the MLS. I think it's like every 15 minutes, but they don't open the door to give us those listings at that same time frame. So that could be why. Like we could be knocking, but they just haven't sent us the listing yet. To find out what your time frame is, you would need to reach out to support. I don't know what that is. So that's one reason. The second reason is a lot of MLSs will have like, I can't remember the exact term, but like sharing reciprocal data. That's the word. So some MLSs will have reciprocal data with each other, but if you're only, so like if I'm a member here, I can look at this one through my MLS because we're sharing our data. However, your agreement with kvCORE is only for this one. And so that would be another reason potentially why what you're seeing in the MLS is different from what you're seeing in kvCORE. If you're in this MLS and it has a friend, right? If you log in through your MLS, you could see both, but only one of them is actually connected to your kvCORE account. So those would be like really the two biggest reasons. Other than that, it's a bug. So like if you see something that just isn't syncing over and it's weird, reach out to support. We can kind of dive into that. So great question. I'm pretty sure I used all the terminology right. I'm pretty sure it's reciprocal data. Is there a default campaign for Sphere? There is. It is the same. It is just like closed, it is also turned off. Those are the only two default campaigns that we have added in here for you that are off as the default setting. Everything else is going to be on as a default, like our default new lead, our default active leads, our defaults. I can't remember all of our defaults. We have 11, but closed and Sphere are off because some agents, a lot of agents, are very particular about how they want to follow up with those people they have relationships with. Makes sense to me. The key is making sure that you have a system to follow up with them. That could be going to my CRM and emailing my Sphere once a month. Then I don't need a smart campaign. But think about how realistic is it for you to actually do that? And that's why you need a smart campaign. So we have our defaults in here. You can use them as is. You can clone them to make changes. You can build your own from scratch. We have a ton of resources for you on smart campaign activity. We do also have a playbook about working your Sphere. So that was good placement right there. So good question. With my Sphere, I can use the Sphere, maybe I'll do a session just on my Sphere, but I could do the default Sphere campaign. I could make my own from scratch. I could edit the one that's there. I could rely on myself to go to my CRM and talk to my Sphere. And I could use my Work My Sphere playbook on a regular basis. I really like that one. So if you don't like the default Sphere campaign, but you don't want to make your own either, I would do this playbook once a month. It keeps you in touch with people and it's pretty great. All right, lots of good stuff. I am going to reiterate one last time. Log in, work your dashboard, update your contacts, work your CRM, and fuel up that pipeline. Thank you all for coming today. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you all online. Thank you.